Hey channel, welcome back to Robert White Photography. It is a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in North Texas. Taking advantage of one of the 5 days a year on average that you can afford to put the top back on this Bronco. Any other time it's too cold, too wet, too hot. But in between seasons, you get a rare day or so that you can drop the top. So I'm off since it's such a beautiful day. The temperature says 80. I'm gonna guess 78. I don't know, 80 might be close. There's just the slightest crispness in the air. So I thought what I'd do this afternoon is go get some steps in, number one. Get outside, get some vitamin D, number two. And take a few photos and take you guys along with me, number three. However, I did a thing recently. I am right now without a camera. Yeah, I traded up my beloved Canon R5. Had that thing for a good number of years. It's taken me and you to some amazing places. Faroe Islands, Iceland, Colorado. Yeah, just some amazing things that camera and I have got to do. And so you're saying, all right, well, Robert, you're cameraless. What's up with that? Well, I traded up. So you guys know KEH.com. If you don't know about KEH, King Edward Henry, KEH.com, go out and check them out. They're a great place to sell your gear. They're a great place to find gently used gear. These cameras hold their value. And these things, they have some well-maintained gear. So when I say trade it up, that's exactly what I did. I traded in this one, sent it off to them yesterday, my R5. And once I get there, you know, they review it and look over it. You kind of tell them up front, hey, I think this camera is like new or excellent or good, using their rating system. And they'll give you an initial quote right there on the internet, like within minutes. And you send it in to them and they review it, and if they agree with your assessment, you keep that quote, or they give you a new one if they think it's something more different, you know. They find a scratch on a lens that you didn't see or whatever. Well, so I rated mine and sent mine in. I'm waiting for them to receive it, review it, confirm the amount, and then from the very same site, KEH, I'm going to go in and see if I can't find, I'm looking at the Canon R5 Mark II, version 2. It's been out for about a year now. It's got some significant upgrades over the regular Canon R5. The R5 Mark II has a much better autofocusing system. That eye detect, where it finds the eye of your subject and locks on, has been much improved. Wasn't bad on the R5, to be honest with you, but I hear it's much improved. The EVF is a better EVF, which if that R5 had one ding in its armor, I think it was the EVF. I didn't much care for the EVF. So I'm hoping this is better. And the EVS has eye detect. In other words, it watches your eye and will focus wherever you're looking. So you can change focus just by looking at something through the viewfinder. Now, I think that's mostly gimmick. A lot of people that have reviewed, I mean, it works. But a lot of professionals that have reviewed that function, that feature, have ended up saying, yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to use it. And I don't think I'll use it much either, because it's things like sports or something where you've got a lot of fast moving subjects. I don't have that in landscape for sure. Wildlife, sometimes the bird, but that eye detect focus on the birds works really well. So I don't know that I'll ever be using that EVF where it follows my eye to determine what I'm looking at and focus on whatever I'm looking at. Not sure I'll use that. We'll try it, see how it works, but I'm not sure it's a long-term thing. There are a few more vents in the body. The body's slightly bigger than the R5. They've put some venting in there to help prevent overheating. Now, I've never had a problem with overheating because I don't take 20 minutes of 8K video on these things. I'll do 30 seconds or a minute of 8K video, and that's it. The rest of the time, I'm shooting stills. Never once had a problem overheating on my R5. But the R5 Mark II does have some extra vents. It still is 45 megapixels, so same sensor size, but a different kind of sensor. It is a back illuminated stacked sensor in this case. Much better. Better low light functionality. It is a better sensor. Same megapixels, but better sensor than the R5. So that's what I'm leaning towards. Once I get that quote finalized, they kind of give you a trade-in voucher for that dollar amount, and then you go pick the camera you want on their site and apply the trade-in credit and pay the rest. So maybe my next weekend or shortly after that, I'll have a new camera to show you guys. Right now I am camera-less. So as I go out to the park today and try to get some steps in, I'm going to take you guys along with my trusted X5. That's how I'm going to communicate with you guys. But we're going to see if there's anything worth shooting. I'm going to have to shoot it on my iPhone. Now these iPhones these days, man, they are getting, 79 Trans Am? Nice. Anyway, these iPhones are getting pretty damn good at photography. It's taken a chunk out of the professional camera market, to be honest with you. The numbers are down across every platform, every brand. But not for me. I'll always use a professional camera over an iPhone. So anyway, back with you in just a bit. When I get to the park, we'll get some steps in and see if there's anything we can shoot today. Thanks for joining me. Top-down kind of day. Okay, so you guys know the park I like to walk in is Arbor Hills Nature Preserve in Plano, Texas. Wonderful walking trails. Can absolutely get lost in this place. But the downside of it is everybody loves it. And we're all trolling for a parking spot out here. Following people, you know, are you coming out? You're not coming out? I've got a four-wheel drive vehicle. Let me just park up on that hill over there. Oh, somebody's coming out. Oh, I'm sorry. Look here. I got a gift. I got a gift. Just so happened somebody was leaving at the right time. Now I gotta straighten up, which is gonna be impossible. All right, here we are on the trail. Already found some beautiful yellow flowers to take a snapshot of using my RAW setting on the iPhone. So that's 48, I think 48 megapixels? No, can't be. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, here's that shot. What a beautiful day. Lots of folks out getting steps in. Beautiful place. As I said, just a beautiful place out here. A creek running through it here, carving its way through the landscape. The water's usually clearer than that, but I think there's kids playing in the water, so it muddies it up a bit. Alright, I can't come out here without hitting my pond trail. You guys will recognize this pond. I'm always out here shooting this pond. Occasionally I get some great shots of birds out here. Not sure there'll be any today, middle of the day like this. But let's take a look. I'm not even sure what the water level is going to be like in the pond today. Well, the water level's up, that's good, but like I said, I don't see any birds out here today. The water level is significantly up. Of course, we have had some pretty good rains over the last couple of days, so that might go to explain that. See if I can see anything from this angle. Turtles, guys. Turtles over there. Turtle in the water right there. Look at me pointing this 360 camera like I need to point it. Ugh. I am a professional. Well, happy about the water level, but yeah, there's no birds out here today. Alright, let's keep walking. Actually, I think I'm going to get a shot at water level with the iPhone, and let's see what that looks like. Okay. Got some shots at water level. It took me several attempts because I decided I wanted to try to do a pano. And to do that, you got to get the horizon, the water line, in the same portion of the frame for every shot. And then you've got to get the phone level in every shot. I tried and failed about 3 times. But I think finally I got it. 4-shot pano. I'm gonna throw that together in the computer when I get home, and if it's any good, I'll throw it up for you guys right now. Lots of kids out here today. Can you hear them? Take a look at this. If you're about my age, back when we used to go outside and play during the day instead of sit behind a computer, you and your buddies would run across this spear grass. You see this? Let's go over here with it. Little spears. You take those things and haul off and throw them at your buds and then kind of poke when they hit you. Lots of fun. Another sort of difficult thing shooting with your iPhone is the settings seem to reset themselves every time you close the screen. I guess that makes sense for an iPhone, but that means every time you open it up for a photo, you gotta reset all the settings again. That's kind of a hassle. A beautiful area. can barely hear any cars. Just the sound of the wind and people enjoying the day. I did check the megapixels on that raw setting on the camera. Indeed, 48 megapixels. How in the world do they cram 48 megapixel in a sensor that small? I mean, when you consider that my R5 is 45 megapixels, yeah, it doesn't seem to math. I don't know. I will be curious when I get home, put these shots in the computer, these raw 48 megapixel shots, just how far I can zoom in and what that quality looks like when I get there. Let's just see if 48 megapixels really looks like 48 megapixels. Coming from an iPhone of all things. I have the iPhone 16 Pro, which is the larger size. And it's not the latest. I think the 17s are out now. And I guess come September, the 18s probably are coming. I can see how the camera manufacturers were a little nervous. 48 megapixels, wow. One side of this park is under construction, so you can't make the full circuit around on this walking path. You do at some point have to take a shortcut. It's been under construction for several months, since the fall, I believe. Anyway, hopefully they're finishing that up soon, because make it easier to get around. And that's why I think further, oh hello lizard. That's why I think further out here you get there's not as many people, because they know you can't walk all the way around. Isn't this beautiful though? Okay, this is kind of a pretty setting with a sort of a canopy in the shade and the light. Let me get a shot here, see what the iPhone can pick up here. I think I'll do a portrait shot rather than a landscape shot. See what happens here. Alright, so the sidewalk sort of creates a leading line into that photo, walks your eye through the photo. The colors are pretty nice on this iPhone, I gotta say. Alright, so here's a cool little crossroads. A lot of times along this cement path there is natural paths that cut off. Really nice. Here's another beautiful covered path, leading line, S-curve into the picture. Let's take this shot and see what it looks like. Alright, yeah, that was stunning. Love how this concrete pathway just leads your eye through the photo. And the canopy above, creating the shadows and the light. Really pretty. This area is just gorgeous. Busy, a lot of wood here. This is the difference between our wooded areas and say Nigel Danson's Lake District in the UK. Seems like, or Mass Peter Iverson in Denmark, his woods seem like the trees are further apart. There's not as many little things everywhere. It's so busy here. It's almost impossible to get a composition. But there is beauty to it because your eyes can cut through it where the camera might not be able to. Your eyes can cut through it. And there's just a piece, man, there's a piece to it. Love this path. You know what I'm not seeing today is birds. And maybe because it's later in the day. I'm usually here walking in the mornings. Plenty of birds, but there's just not that many of them out here this afternoon. It's probably hard to see on this X5 because of the lens distortion, but that's a natural path that leads way back there. I've photographed this before with my other camera. It's a beautiful walkway. All right, well, no sooner than I said that about the birds, I heard a red bird and actually saw him. Tried to get a shot with the cell phone, but that's very difficult because you can't really zoom in all that much. These purple flowers. Let's see what kind of shot we can get of these. Okay, those were beautiful purple flowers. There were a couple of yellow butterflies flying around them. I was trying to capture that, but it was a little difficult with a cell phone. But I gotta tell you, you don't need a $4,000 camera to capture some great photos. I mean, no wonder the camera manufacturers are freaking out a bit. You don't got to spend that kind of money. Just take your cell phone with you. You're going to get some pretty amazing photos just with a cell phone. Alright guys, well this video is probably getting a little long, I apologize, but what a beautiful day. I hope you stuck with me through the whole thing. Just an amazing day. You guys tune in soon. I'll show you when the new camera equipment arrives. And we will see if that new camera equipment takes us on some other great adventures. So here's that shortcut I was telling you about. Had to cross that creek down there. Look at this tree, hanging on for dear life. To its last breath. I may get a shot of that. And then we'll continue along this shortcut. Alright, let's continue on. That was a cool tree. It may not be here next season, but still cool. Can y'all believe this in here? Is this not beautiful? The light coming through this canopy. Stunning. Look at the birds in here, guys. All right, let's see if we can make our way up to the parking lot. Turning left here, I bet we can. Yep, how about that? How about that? All right, let's wrap this video up. Anyway, we'll talk to you again soon, and until we do, happy shooting and God bless.